Ladies and gentlemen, fellas, let me tell you something. There's a game going on, and most of y'all don't even know you're playing. You ever been in a situation where everything was cool one day, then suddenly, boom, she go quiet. No more good morning texts. No more, what you doing? Calls, just silence. And now you sitting there pacing the floor, wondering, did I mess up? Should I say something? Should I call her? Meanwhile, she's on the other end chilling, waiting, watching. Because she ain't mad no more, she's strategic. See, she ain't saying nothing on purpose. Why? Because she's waiting for you to break. She's waiting for that, hey, can we talk text? She wants to see if you'll fold, if you'll chase, if you'll give in. And most men, they do, fast. But let me be real with you. This is a trap built out of pride, silence, and emotional power plays. And if you don't learn how to see it, you'll fall into it again and again, losing yourself every time just to keep the peace. So stay with me, because what I'm about to say, it ain't just about relationships. It's about self-respect, emotional control, and understanding the power of not always being the first one to break. This one right here might just change how you show up as a man. Let's get into it. When a woman goes silent, it's not always because she's lost interest. Sometimes silence is her strongest move. You see, a woman knows that words can start arguments, but silence can control emotions. And when she chooses silence, she's not giving up on you. Oh no, she's setting the stage. She's sitting back, waiting to see if you'll make the first move, waiting to see if you're going to fold, because she knows men can't handle the quiet. That silence, it eats at you. It makes you question everything. It makes you replay every conversation, every moment, every little detail. Did I say something wrong? Is she talking to someone else? Should I call her? That's the trap. That is the moment she's waiting for. When your mind is running wild, your fingers hovering over your phone, then your heart racing like you're back in high school, that's when the real game begins. She's watching. She's testing you. She's seeing if you're going to break before she does. And most times it works, because we as men are wired to fix things. We don't like loose ends. We don't like emotional confusion. So when she pulls away, the first thing we do is reach for her. Call her, text her, chase her, trying to fix it, trying to smooth it over. But here's the hard truth: the moment you break first, the power shifts. You just gave her all the control. She now knows exactly how to handle you. She knows the formula: go quiet, pull back, let him panic, and he'll come running every time. And the more you do it, the more she expects it. It becomes the rhythm of the relationship. But what happens when you don't break? What happens when you sit in that silence, just as calm and cool as she is? That's when the tables turn. That's when she starts to think. Wait, why hasn't he called? Why hasn't he texted? Is he moving on? Is he mad? Does he even care anymore? Now she's the one pacing the room. Now she's the one wondering what's going on. Now the emotional weight shifts back to her. See, this isn't about playing cold. It's about knowing your worth. It's about understanding that your peace is more important than jumping to fix a moment of tension. Silence isn't always a punishment. Sometimes it's a tool. When you give yourself the space to breathe, to think, to not react out of fear or insecurity, you start to take control of the relationship dynamic. You stop looking desperate. You stop chasing validation. And guess what? That's when the real respect shows up. When a woman sees that you won't fold under pressure, that you can hold your ground, that you can give her space without breaking down or begging, she looks at you different. You become the man who can handle himself. You become the man who can handle her. Because believe it or not, women don't want a man who's easy to break. They want a man who can stay strong, who can be patient, who can let her feel her feelings without turning it into a panic attack. It's all about emotional strength, the kind that says, I care about you, but I won't lose myself for you. That's rare. That's powerful. That's attractive. Because if you break the moment she pulls back, then you've already told her you can't stand tall in the hard moments. You've shown her you'll always fold under pressure. And no woman wants to feel like she's the one holding all the emotional power. She might enjoy it for a moment, but long term, she wants a man who can meet her strength with his own. So the next time you feel the urge to call first, text first, fix it first, pause, take a deep breath, let her feel your absence, let her sit with her own thoughts, let her realize what she's doing, and if she truly values you, she'll break the silence. And when she does, the conversation will be real, honest, and built on respect, not fear. Because the man who doesn't break first is the man who knows his value. And that kind of man, that's the one she can't forget. One thing you have to understand about women is this: when she pulls back, it isn't always because she wants distance. Sometimes she's pulling back because she wants to see if you'll chase her. That's right. Sometimes a woman will create space not because she wants you out of her life, but because she wants proof that you want to be in it. That's a test, my friend, and it's one of the oldest plays in the book. See, women are smart. They don't always ask for things directly, especially when it comes to emotions. Instead, they test you through actions. They pull away and sit back, watching closely, waiting to see what you do next. Will you panic? Will you start blowing up her phone? Will you send her long paragraphs apologizing for things you don't even know you did? Will you chase her like your world's about to fall apart? Or will you hold your ground, stand still, and let her come to you? Now here's the trick: the moment you chase her, she knows she's got you. She knows your emotions are tied up in her reaction. And once she sees that, she also knows she can control the entire pace of the relationship. If you run after her every time she steps back, she will always be the one steering the ship. She'll call the shots, set the tone, and decide when you're close and when you're distant. And that ain't love, that's control. But when you don't chase, when you stand strong in that moment, everything changes. When she sees you're not desperate for attention, that you're not jumping at every little shift in mood, it hits her differently. It makes her stop and think. It makes her wonder why you're not reacting. It forces her to confront her own feelings. And that, right there, is powerful. Because here's the truth: when a woman cares, she wants to know she matters. But more than that, she wants to know the man she's dealing with values himself. A man who panics at the first sign of distance sends one clear message: I don't believe I'm enough, so I have to chase you to convince you to stay. That energy, that's the opposite of attractive. But when a man stands tall, when he can hold space for himself, when he can say through his actions, I'm good with or without this, she feels that. And the moment she feels that, she starts looking at you like you've got something different, something most men don't. Women aren't drawn to weakness. They're drawn to strength, emotional strength, mental strength, the kind of strength that says, I choose you, but I don't need to beg you. That's rare. That's the difference between a man who leads his own life and a man who lives for her attention. And let me tell you something else. When you don't chase, you give her the space to miss you. You give her the silence to sit in her feelings. You give her the time to think about all the things you brought into her life. Because when a woman is alone with her thoughts, That's when the truth shows up. That's when I wonder what he's doing moments creep in. That's when maybe I overreacted, thoughts start playing. But you can't rush that. You have to let her reach that place on her own. And the only way she gets there is if you don't break first. Most men think winning her back is about doing more. More texts, more calls, more "I miss you" confessions. But the real game is about doing less. Doing nothing at all sometimes, because the one who holds their ground usually holds the power. So the next time she pulls back and leaves you hanging in silence, don't lose your mind. Don't panic. Don't chase. Let her feel your absence. Let her wonder about you. Let her curiosity pull her back toward you. Because when she realizes you didn't fold, when she sees you were calm, cool, and collected while she was waiting for you to break, that's when she sees your real value. That's when she understands you're not just another man who can be controlled. You're the man who knows his worth, and that's the man she won't want to let go. One thing you've got to understand about women is this: silence speaks louder than words. When a woman is truly interested, when she's got feelings for you, even if she's trying to hide them, her silence isn't just empty space. It's actually packed with emotions, overthinking, and deep thoughts about you. When you stop talking to her, her mind doesn't go quiet. Oh no, it does the complete opposite. It gets even louder. Her imagination starts running wild. She starts asking herself questions. Why did he go quiet? Did I do something wrong? Is he losing interest? Is he talking to someone else? And the more she doesn't hear from you, the more her mind creates stories. That's the funny part. You might be sitting there thinking, well, she probably doesn't even care. But in reality, she's sitting wherever she is, overthinking every single detail of your last conversation. She's replaying your words, reading old texts, and even stalking your social media, trying to see if there's a clue about why you've gone quiet. That's how deep the overthinking goes when a woman has feelings for you. Women are emotional detectives. When they care, they become super aware of every little shift in your behavior. If you used to text her, "Good morning," and now suddenly you don't, she's going to notice it. If you used to be excited to reply, but now your texts are short and dry, she's going to pick up on that too. And the moment you stop talking altogether, her mind hits overdrive. She'll start playing back every moment you've shared, wondering what changed. She might even start doubting herself, thinking maybe she said something wrong, or maybe she wasn't enough. And all of this is happening silently. Now here's the important part: the more she overthinks, the more her emotions get involved. That's the thing people don't tell you. Distance doesn't always make feelings fade. Sometimes it makes them stronger. When a woman sits in that silence, she starts to realize just how much you were on her mind. She starts to understand how big of a space you actually took up in her day. She starts missing the little things, like your random jokes or the way you always had something funny to say when she was upset. That silence becomes the mirror that shows her just how deep her feelings go. But here's where most men mess it up. They break the silence too soon. They panic and think, I haven't heard from her. I should text her. But what they don't realize is that during that silent time, she's actually testing her own feelings. She's figuring out what she really wants. And when you break the silence first, then you rob her of the chance to feel the full effect of missing you. You interrupt her process. That's why patience is power. If you give her space, if you allow her to sit with her own thoughts, she will either come back to you even more certain, or she'll show you she was never truly invested. Either way, you win. But if you break first, if you reach out too soon, If you try to fix something that wasn't even broken, you show her that you're the one who can't handle the silence, and that flips the power dynamic. The truth is, if a woman is thinking about you in your absence, that's a strong sign her feelings are real. Women don't waste emotional energy on men they don't care about. So when her mind starts replaying your name over and over, when her heart feels that little ache because you're not around, that's love creeping in, even if she hasn't admitted it to herself yet. Sometimes the strongest emotional connections are built not through constant talking, but through absence. It's in the quiet moments when she realizes how much she misses you. It's in the silence where she starts to notice the difference between just liking someone and actually caring about them. So don't be afraid of the silence. Let it do the work for you. If she cares, that silence will pull her back to you. And when she returns, she'll come back with clarity because the time apart showed her exactly how much you matter. When a woman is quiet around you, especially after you've been communicating consistently, there's a certain level of curiosity that stirs inside her. And you need to understand this. It's not that she doesn't care about you or what's going on. On the contrary, it's often the opposite. When she goes quiet, it's a signal that she's reflecting on the connection, thinking about the potential, trying to figure out her next move. The silence is not always a sign of disinterest, but rather a sign of deep consideration. Think about it for a moment. When things are going well, when a woman feels secure and confident in a relationship, she's often more open and communicative. She's eager to talk, share her thoughts, express her emotions. But when there's something she's unsure about, or when she feels uncertain about where things are heading, she pulls back. It's her way of processing her feelings. It's her way of protecting herself from feeling vulnerable or exposed. But here's the thing, this silence isn't an easy place for her to be in. She doesn't necessarily want to be silent. She's trying to make sense of her emotions. She's analyzing the situation from every angle, wondering if she's moving too fast or if she's being too cautious. Her mind is racing with questions like, does he feel the same way? Is this relationship really what I want? What's holding me back from being completely open and vulnerable? These thoughts swirl in her head as she contemplates every moment you've spent together. She's calculating the risks, balancing her heart and her head, all while still holding on to the hope that things will work out. In that silence, she is testing her own feelings. She's trying to assess her emotional response to you, figuring out whether her feelings for you are genuine or if they're just a fleeting attraction. It's not a game. It's not a tactic to make you chase her. It's her way of figuring out if what she's feeling is something worth investing in. And here's another key part that you've got to understand. When a woman goes quiet, she may be testing you as well. She's wondering how you'll respond to her distance. She wants to see if you'll chase her or if you'll give her space to come to her own conclusions. The way you handle that silence says a lot about how you view the relationship. Will you break the silence and seek reassurance, or will you give her the room to figure things out for herself? How you respond to her silence can either make or break the connection. Sometimes she might not even realize how much silence she needs to process her emotions. She's simply pulling away because she's afraid of getting hurt. She's afraid of becoming too attached to someone who might not feel the same way. She's afraid of falling too hard, too fast, and then facing rejection. So she retreats into silence, thinking that if she can hold herself back, she won't experience the pain of unreciprocated feelings. But deep down, she knows that silence also brings clarity. It allows her to see things from a different perspective. And while she's in this space of quiet contemplation, you've got to give her the time she needs. It can be tough, I know. You might feel like you've done something wrong, or you might start second, guessing everything you've done so far. But the worst thing you can do is rush her. Don't push her to talk when she's not ready. Give her the time and space to figure things out. If you're always reaching out, if you're constantly trying to fill the silence with your words, it can overwhelm her and prevent her from reaching the clarity she needs. When a woman pulls back, it's also her way of protecting her own emotions. She's trying to shield herself from getting hurt. It's not about you specifically, it's about her own fears and insecurities. She might love being around you, but the thought of being vulnerable and open about her feelings terrifies her. She wants to protect herself from that risk, which is why she retreats. And that's when you need to be patient, understanding, and give her the space to open up on her own time. This silence is not a permanent state. It's temporary. It's a phase that, with the right amount of time and patience, will eventually pass. If you truly care for her, and if you give her the space she needs to sort through her feelings, she will come back to you. When she does, it will be with a stronger sense of clarity. She will know exactly what she wants, and most importantly, she will know that you respected her enough to allow her to process her emotions without pressuring her. But understand this, the silence she gives you is not something to fear. It's something to embrace. Because when she comes back to you, after having sorted through everything in her head and heart, the connection will be even stronger. She will have come to the conclusion herself that you're worth the wait, that you're someone she's willing to invest in. But only if you give her that time and space to reach that conclusion. When you understand this, you will understand her better, and that will strengthen the relationship you're building. When a woman is quietly falling for you, there's a lot more going on beneath the surface than you might realize. Often, her feelings are deeper than what she's willing to show, and this is where the beauty of patience comes into play. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that everything needs to be spoken aloud, that every emotion needs to be expressed right then and there. But what you need to understand is that for a woman who is quietly in love with you, her emotions may be complex, layered, and sometimes difficult for her to articulate. When she's in love but hesitant to show it, she might be carrying a bit of uncertainty. It's not necessarily about you. It's about her own fears and experiences. Love for her might come with baggage. Maybe she's been hurt before, or maybe she's just scared of being vulnerable. She's probably been in situations where her emotions were given too quickly, only to be taken for granted. So, in her mind, she thinks twice before she lets anyone in. She doesn't want to repeat past mistakes, and she doesn't want to get hurt again. This hesitation can cause her to retreat and hold her feelings inside, which may confuse you because you're not sure what she's thinking or feeling. But this is not a sign that she's uninterested. Quite the opposite. When she's quietly in love, she's often paying close attention to everything you say and do. She's analyzing how you treat her, how you treat others, and how you react to different situations. She's trying to understand the depth of your character. This is her way of determining if you're truly someone she can trust with her heart. She's looking for consistency in your actions, and she wants to know that you're capable of handling the responsibility of her feelings. She won't just give her heart away easily. She wants to be sure that you deserve it, and this takes time. One of the key things you need to understand when a woman is in love but hesitant to show it is that her silence can be a sign of her trust in you. She might not be overly vocal about her feelings, but her quietness doesn't mean she's uninterested. Instead, it's often a reflection of her comfort level with you. She might feel secure in your presence, but she's also taking things slowly, not wanting to rush into anything. This is where patience becomes critical. If you push her too hard, or if you start questioning why she's not more expressive, it could make her retreat even further into herself. But when you give her the time and space to feel comfortable, you create an environment where she's more likely to open up in her own time. The danger lies in misunderstanding this silence. It's easy to assume that silence equals disinterest, but that's not always the case. You might find yourself frustrated, thinking that you're doing something wrong, or wondering why she's not as expressive as you'd like. But it's crucial to understand that she's still processing her feelings. She's not ignoring you. She's just taking her time. In fact, this can be a sign of emotional maturity on her part. Rather than rushing headfirst into something, she's choosing to step back and ensure that her feelings are genuine and well thought out. She doesn't want to give her heart to someone just because of fleeting emotions or because she feels pressure to do so. Instead, she's waiting for the right moment, a moment when she can confidently say, yes, this is real. This is someone I want to be with. Another aspect of her quiet love is the way she communicates. It may not be through grand gestures or constant words, but in subtle actions. Maybe she remembers the small things you say, things you didn't even realize were important. Maybe she checks in on you when you're going through tough times, offering her support in ways that are soft but meaningful. She might not shout from the rooftops about her feelings, but her actions speak louder than words ever could. She's showing you that she cares, even if she's not always vocal about it. And those small, thoughtful gestures can often be more powerful than any grand declaration of love. The key to navigating this dynamic is understanding that love doesn't always need to be expressed in obvious, loud ways. Sometimes love is quiet, subtle, and built on trust and mutual respect. She's in love with you, but she's also protecting her heart. She's waiting to see if you're truly someone she can trust, someone who will be there for her when things get tough, someone who will appreciate her for who she is, not just for what she can offer. What she's waiting for is a sign from you that you're in this for the long haul, that you're not just looking for a quick connection, but that you're ready for something real, something that's deep and lasting. If you understand that and give her the space to be herself without rushing her or pressuring her to open up, she will eventually reveal the love that's quietly growing inside her. When a woman is quietly in love with you, she often demonstrates her feelings through actions rather than words. This can be one of the most subtle yet significant ways of showing love, and understanding it requires a keen sense of observation. One of the things you may notice is that she goes out of her way to support you, even when it's not required or expected. It could be in the form of small gestures that show she cares, then remembering your favorite food and bringing it to you when you're having a tough day. Or it could be offering her help in a situation where she doesn't need to, but she just wants to make your life easier. These are the moments when her feelings are coming through in ways that speak louder than words could. At times, she might give you her time and energy even when she's not getting much in return. She doesn't keep score or expect anything in return because for her, giving to you comes naturally. This is the heart of someone who's quietly in love, someone who derives joy from seeing you happy or seeing you succeed. The sacrifices she makes, though often small and unnoticed, have a deeper meaning behind them. It's not about the grand gestures, it's about those quiet acts of service, care, and concern that add up over time and show her commitment to the relationship. A woman who is quietly in love with you may also show her affection by being deeply attentive to your emotional needs. She's likely to notice when something's off with you, even if you don't say a word. Whether it's a subtle change in your tone, a shift in your mood, or a little hesitation in your actions, she picks up on it. And instead of waiting for you to ask for help, she may step in with the support or encouragement you need. Her understanding of your needs runs deeper than just the surface level. She's in tune with the unspoken signals that tell her when you're struggling, stressed, or in need of comfort. She's the one who can make you feel seen and heard, even when you don't vocalize it yourself. The way she listens to you is also a sign of how she feels. When she is quietly in love, she gives you her full attention. And it's not just because she's interested in what you're saying, though that's certainly part of it. She listens to understand you, to connect with you on a deeper level. When you speak, she values your words. She cares about your thoughts and opinions, not just as a casual interest, but as something she genuinely holds in high regard. She might even reflect on what you've said, bringing it up later in conversation to show that she not only heard you, but that she took the time to process your words and integrate them into her understanding of who you are. However, it's not just about emotional understanding. She's likely to also be attentive to the little details of your life. She remembers things you might have forgotten, whether it's an important event you mentioned in passing or something small like your favorite color or the way you like your coffee. She cherishes these details because they're a part of you, and she values the connection she has with you. In a world where most people are busy and distracted, then the government who takes the time to remember these things is showing you that you matter to her on a profound level. Another aspect of quietly being in love is the way she communicates with you. While she may not always be outwardly expressive, the way she speaks to you conveys care and affection. Her tone might be softer when she's around you, and there's an ease in her words that speaks to the comfort she feels when you're together. She might not openly declare her love every time you talk, but there's an unspoken bond in the way she interacts with you. It's in the warmth of her voice, the gentle humor she shares with you, and the way she makes you feel important in her life. As time goes on, you may start to notice that her behavior starts to reflect an increasing sense of trust. A woman who is quietly in love with you often keeps her emotions guarded because she wants to make sure you're trustworthy. But as she feels secure in the relationship, she begins to let down her guard and share more of herself with you. This is a slow, gradual process, and it may not be immediately obvious. However, you'll notice that she begins to open up in ways that she didn't before. She shares her dreams, her fears, and her vulnerabilities with you, and this is a huge step in demonstrating the depth of her feelings. This trust is essential for a long, lasting relationship, and for a woman who's quietly in love, it's a key sign that she feels safe and valued. Her decision to let you in more fully shows that she believes you're someone who can handle her heart, her thoughts, and her imperfections. It's a sign of her commitment to building something real and lasting. Ultimately, a woman who is quietly in love with you may not always express her feelings in the obvious ways you might expect, but the depth of her affection is clear in her actions. She cares for you in the small, meaningful ways that add up over time. Her love is a quiet force, one that doesn't need to be loudly declared because it speaks for itself through a kindness, patience, understanding, and attention, Recognizing these signs is essential to understanding her love, and when you do, you'll realize how rare and precious that love truly is.